On today's show, we highlight a short line speed trolling technique that works extremely well on shallow natural lakes during the dog days of summer in northeastern South Dakota.
There's a fish there, Corey.
Oh! Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks like a good fish there.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid fish.
I got one here too.
We got a double?
Yep.
That's quite the way
Yours
to
looks
start the day
yeah,
out,
yours
isn't
looks
it?
a little bit bigger. Oh, they're both respectable fish.
That's one thing that we found at this lake is that the year class.
Tell you what, I'll net your fish here for you. Yours is a touch bigger than mine. Oh yeah, look at that. Dandy. Look how healthy these fish are. Tell you what, if you want to get the fish out of the net there, I'll bring this one in. There we go.
That's not a bad fish either, Jason.
Whoa. Nice start, Corey.
That's the way to start the day, a double.
Yeah,
on what,
that is.
17, 18-inch fish?
Yeah, just look at that. I just love the girth of these fish. We're in northeastern South Dakota. I tell you what, this area has emerged as one of the best areas around for fishing, just because you guys have so many lakes, high water situations creating phenomenal growth rates. And with a friend of mine named Corey Ewing, who does a lot of guiding in this area, he's really dialed into the fish in this area. And one of the things that we're going to do today is we're going to speed troll. And these lakes are just shallow dish bowls, and it's late summer, and these fish pull out from the shorelines, and they're just roaming these basins. And one of my favorite ways to fish these fish is to troll fast. We're trolling up to 3 miles an hour. We're trolling with a big motor, running baits right behind the prop, and we're going to catch a lot of fish.
You know, Jason, one thing I'd like to point out is, I mean, we're not trolling at 2 miles an hour or 2.2 like a lot of people commonly think of when they think of trolling crankbaits. We're running in upwards of 2.5 to 3 miles an hour, sometimes even a touch over that. You know, when you get into the midsummer months like this, our lakes are real shallow, weedy, you know, bodies of water up along the shorelines. We get out in the basins of these lakes and we turn up the speed. You know, it seems like if you pick it up a little bit, you cover more water. These fish are still feeding. There's no doubt about it.
Fish on.
It's just speed is definitely your friend in this type of situation.
God, here, I think too, some of the part of the excitement, you know, as far as just how hard these fish hit, is that. Well, that's a nice walleye there.
Nice fish, Jason.
Nice, thank you, sir. Yeah, that's a dandy there.
He popped right off for you too.
Yep. Yeah, that's just a beautiful walleye. I keep waiting for your rod to go too. We've had a couple of doubles today, but man, I cannot get over how solid this fishery is.
The number of fish in that 17 to let's say 22-inch year class is just incredible. You know, when we can come out here and consistently in July and August see 30 to 50 fish days in that size, it's really speaks highly of the fishery in the area. There's no doubt about it.
We've been pulling all along here where the wind's been blowing in, and it's 7 feet where the boat's at. And what's surprising just how gradual this taper is. I bet if you had chest waders, you could probably walk out a long ways. You know, it just seems like it's just such a gradual slope out here, so it doesn't seem like.
It is literally the definition of a dish bowl.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you know, it's just kind of a neat pattern, because a lot of times people think of, you know, sharp breaks, you know, stair step bottom contour, and this is just a big flooded marsh more or less. And out in the middle, it's 8 feet. We're just following that basic contour, 7 feet, 6 feet, and fish are just all through here.
there is really no pressure as far as are you gonna, you know, have to worry about other boats competing with you. I mean, we're able to cover water, and there might be 15 other boats on this body of water, and we don't have to be within a quarter mile.
Yeah, I mean, after you catch a few fish and the net comes out, you just keep moving. There's other fish in other spots, and that's the beauty of it. You just keep on trolling. You know, part of the mystique of a lot of these lakes is that, you know, 15 years ago, these weren't lakes. And so you got these marshes, these low spots that fill in with water. Now they're deep enough to support fish, and biologists have a term for it where you take terrestrial vegetation, you take a dry terrestrial environment and you flood it, the productivity goes through the roof. Basically, you have all that carbon that's locked up in that terrestrial vegetation, and when you add water to it, it's released. And so that's part of the mystique of this area, is that you get such high productivity. You're going to see growth rates. You're going to see fishing that you don't ever see unless maybe you create a new reservoir. You just, whenever you get new water, you just get unbelievable fishing. Look at the fish there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, another.
Looks like another really solid fish.
Yep. Steer them out for you. There we go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Show you here. That fish, boy, these fish are just spunky. That surface temp on this got to be pushing 80 degrees or so. It's dog days of summer, so to speak, but the fish has got a lot of life to it. But you can see that fish had a pretty short distance to the boat. And I tell you what, one of the biggest myths that I see so often is that people think they have to fish away from the boat in shallow water, let a lot of line out in this type of situation. We're running these baits right behind the boat. I think staying close to the boat actually has some advantages. You can clean the debris and the slime off your bait better if it's fouled up. These fish just aren't spooked from the boat, are they?
No, in fact, it seems like, we're running, 35 to 40 feet of line, and I mean, that fish come right out of the prop wash on a turn,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if you see, you're running the big motor instead of the kicker.
Yep.
And I think it's going to probably be a key to the success of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. We see that happen a lot, though, is run them right behind the boat. And I also think that, I'll show you the bait here that we're using. And bait's got a deep diving bill, it's got a very hard action on it, tuned to run exceptionally well at high speeds. But what we're doing is we're running this bait on a short amount of line. What that does when you take a deep diving crankbait on a short amount of line is that it keeps that bait more up and down, and the line's more like this, where you're just getting that bait to dig hard, and you change the angle of the bait by running it on a shorter amount of line. And late summer stained water, that, for whatever reason, really seems to trip the trigger of these fish.
The lure is a Salmo Bullhead 6SDR. This deep diving crankbait emits an extremely pronounced vibration and handles fast trolling speeds. Come midsummer, the Salmo Bullhead is a deadly walleye lure.
Oh, that one buried
That's
it.
a big girl there.
This definitely feels like a better fish here.
Wow, yeah, I got the boat neutral here. I'll kind of turn us with the wind. We'll just kind of coast.
And Jason, that's the other nice thing too about us just running the two rods like we're running. We don't have to worry about getting tangled and things of that nature.
Yeah, just from an efficiency standpoint, keep it simple. That's a dandy.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the better ones we've got today yet.
Yeah. Swing them out wide. There you go. There we go. Wow, look at that. That's a dandy. Yeah, just a matter of keeping it simple. We're cleaning these rods off too quite frequently, getting the slime off, getting the weeds off, and just maintaining one rod. Keep it simple, and biggest thing is just being efficient, letting her buck. Nice work. Get that fish in the water. Oh, I never get tired of seeing that.
Jason, just to touch on that a little bit more, as you can see here in South Dakota, we can legally run two rods an angler, and we're clearly not doing that. We're running just one rod a piece, kind of like you spoke about earlier today with all the algae that floats in the water this time of year, with all the moss and debris on the bottom. Quite honestly, we're probably more efficient by just running one rod a person. And you can maybe speak a little bit more about that yourself as far as how you can actually be more efficient and catch more fish in a situation like this by just running one rod each.
Absolutely, it's just a matter of doing a good job with one rod versus doing a poor job with multiple rods, and just keeping it efficient. And a lot of times people look at shallow water walleyes, they think you got to let out a lot of line, think you got to use multiple rods, cover a big swath, use planer bores, for example, and all those things really shine at certain situations, especially when you have clear water where the fish are bumping away from the boat. But this is a situation where you don't have to worry about that, just a matter of keeping it simple and being efficient. And that's something that I think some people just have a hard time grasping. Oh, look at there. Another big fish, Corey.
That one just buried it.
All right.
Like you were talking about earlier, the initial strike when you're pulling crankbaits fast.
Just violent. I'm just going to kind of turn the boat here for you. There you go. We're just coast with the wind. I'll get here and get it for you. There. Another dandy. Another dandy. Yeah, that little clown bullhead is
the last half hour
starting
really
to light her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Clowns, we touched on it earlier, but your clown color, that yellow dace color, that hot perch color, anything with chartreuse on it. There's another one.
Did you get another one, Jason?
Yeah. This is fun.
It really is. It's just enjoyable. This
And it kind of bucks every. What's that, Corey?
He's got some pep to him.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? He's barely hooked. It kind of bucks all conventional wisdom there is too about walleye fishing. Or shallow water, middle of the day, we're trolling way too fast, we're doing a lot of things wrong and it's working.
I can just think of one thing, and that'd be my dad. With walleye fishing, his thoughts are cloudy, overcast days, rain,
Get out here at 5 in the morning.
We're sitting here, and quite honestly, we could have our best bite at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah, and I often think that sunshine is actually a pretty good trigger in the sense that some of these lakes actually fish better when it's sunny, high skies. The amount of light penetration that must be cut down because of all the algae in the water is probably pretty dramatic. It's probably
really
a lot darker
is.
down there than people think.
It's almost like the low light conditions that we'd commonly see, on a clear water lake, actually will experience that at noon instead of right away in the morning or right away in the evening.
Yep.
And quite honestly, on your locator, you can notice the fish you're marking as the day goes on, the day progresses, the sun gets up higher, you'll see those fish come off the bottom and they're getting more active. It really is. There's something to it.
I can't tell you how many times over the years, and this is back home on Devil's Lake, which is very similar to this type of water, to where I have just an exceptional day and run out there right away in the morning early, just to get out there first and maybe get out there before some of the other boats. And you still have to wait till 9 o'clock for them to start biting. It's just amazing how that works with this stained water.
Deep diving cranks can be kept closer to the prop and put off a much harder vibration on a short amount of line. This tactic works extremely well during the dog days of summer when algae blooms stain the water.
Okay, so you can see that we're pulling pretty fast, and we're, like Corey touched on earlier, we're going 2.6 to even over 3 miles an hour, but you also see that we're running with a big motor. I've got a kicker on the back of the boat. Why troll with a big motor? Well, I really believe that when you get these algae blooms late in the summer, that water really gets dark and green and really stained, and that visibility gets cut down. I like pulling with a big motor because I think that prop turning puts off a lot of flash, and it seems like it gets those fish riled up. And so I like to troll through that shallow water with that big motor running, that big prop turning, run them cranks right behind that big prop, and that seems to work really well in these shallow prairie lakes come late summer. Look at that.
That one just buried it, Jason.
Wow, I love it when they do that. I'm going to put the boat in neutral here and just kind of coast with the wind. I bet we were moving 3.5 miles an hour on that fish.
We were
here.
humming right along.
That's the thing, it's like the faster you troll, the harder the strikes are. He's not that big of a fish either. He just really
aggressive.
Really
that's all there is
ripped
to
into it. Yeah.
But yet another one that is nice and healthy.
No, these are beautiful fish. Must be just a really predominant year class out here. A lot of these fish are just cookie cutters of each other. There, yeah, just nice quality fish. Never get tired of that, huh?
No, it doesn't get any better.
When that rod explodes, bangs in that rod holder. I just never get tired of that. Might have to put the boat in neutral a little bit here.
That one got some shoulders on him.
I don't know. I kind of like to just get them to come kind of ski up towards the top there, and it's amazing with all those treble hooks how easy they can
Pop.
tear off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to just kind of drag them in versus dig below the boat.
Oh, that's a really healthy fish.
Yeah, that's another respectable fish. Look at that.
He is barely hooked too.
The way he's flopping back, he's either going to get more hooks in him or he's going to get off. The way he's jumping back there, you wouldn't even think it was a walleye. There we go. Thank you, sir. Yeah, just another dandy. Another dandy. Get him unhooked here and show him off.
Look at the belly on that one.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
He's been eating.
Yeah, what's amazing about these ecosystems, these types of lakes, is just how much these fish eat invertebrates.
Oh.
You know, they'll be just full of freshwater shrimp and insect larvae, and just
A lot of larvae.
a lot of bugs in
Yeah.
the water. That's what these fish are eating. That's why these fish grow so fast.
When walleyes pile into the basins of shallow dish bowl lakes, start your search on the edge of the basin, but use speed to cover the open basin, as fish can be scattered everywhere.
Once again, it just seems like speed is the trigger.
Yeah. You know, we've cut across wind and cut against the wind where we've slowed down a little bit. We just aren't catching fish when we slow down. We've had to make an effort, especially when we turn and go up against the wind, where kick it down just enough to get that speed back up. But yep, these fish want it moving. Another dandy walleye. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 3.2, 2.8 miles an hour, that's been the ticket. Pulling those baits fast, right behind the boat, and let her buck. All right.
Oh, this rod just buried too, Jason.
You
I
got one there?
Yep. Yep.
What a circus. In a good kind of way. And I better hit a waypoint too.
Yeah, we picked up a nice double right there.
Yeah, another dandy. Oh yeah, there we go. There, nice work.
In the net.
There. Got the pliers. I wouldn't even want to guess how many walleyes we've caught today. Just beautiful fish, beautiful fish.
And they just don't seem to run out.
No.
You just keep catching them.
Day goes on and the bite gets better.
To experience the fishery highlighted in today's show, use these helpful links to plan your trip.